Hey, fatty! That's me. Marc Lobliner says I'm fat. You know, I saw this video last night somebody sent me, and I had to cry myself to sleep. I was so disheartened that he called me fat that I didn't know what to do. Let's talk about that. But first, let's do a little bit of a success, not a success story, but another success video. You guys check this out. Okay, just a bunch of pictures of people getting healthier, right? And these people are going on all meat diets. They're losing weight. They're coming off medications. Nutrition science is a big pile of garbage, quite honestly, guys. This is a problem. We have just complete crap for nutrition science, epidemiology based on food frequency recall studies where people try to remember what they think they might have eaten. They never measure anything, actually. They say, well, we think you ate this much, and therefore, we're going to make these conclusions on that. It is garbage pseudoscience. No other scientific field would accept that rigor. They would laugh it out of the university. It's just a joke. So anyway, challenge this dogma. Go with what works. Okay, let's talk about this. Well, let's play this. So Marc Lobliner puts up a video. I'll put a segment up when he's kind of chatting about me, and then we'll discuss.
I've seen other people just fucking amazing specimens. But you know the one thing I don't see? Why are none of the elites carnivores? Why are none of the elites vegans? Like, you got a bunch of athletes who've lived their life as meat eaters who come in and say, hey, I'm a vegan, and then Cam Newton gets injured. Right? Like, what I'm saying is your poster boys need to be better. Just being real. Like when Nike was on its way up, they had Michael Jordan. He was the best in the sport. He was basketball. No offense to Sean Baker, for a 53-year-old man, he looks fantastic. But he's not lean. Like, if this fat, protein, meat-only diet couldn't be stored as fat, if all you're going to do is just utilize all the nutrients, you can have a testosterone level of 200, which I think his was around like 200, 250, but yet your body utilizes some bullshit excuse like your body utilizes more of the testosterone, so it doesn't need to be as high, which makes no fucking sense. Maybe it does make sense. I'm sure some haters in the comments will make sense of it, but I like Sean Baker. I really think he's one of the smarter guys, and I thank God he came up. I thank God he is on this earth. Because if it wasn't for him, the vegans would be running wild with some bullshit, right? I think Sean Baker is what the world needed. I'm a fucking fan. I follow him on Instagram. I comment. I love Sean. I'm a fan. I'm in the Sean Baker fan club, but he's not shredded. He's not lean. If this diet was the almighty diet, why can't he stay lean year round? If he doesn't need steroids and hormones, why can't he be lean like me year round? I'm just asking that. The guy adheres to his diet, right? He eats fucking ribeye 12 times a day. Shouldn't he be like fucking 2% body fat if this shit was true? And vegans, oh, well, it's perfect for building muscle.
Okay, back, I don't know, 10 years ago, I remember watching some of Marc's videos. You know, I just, for whatever, came through and checked them out. No real comment on that. It's interesting to see he's come a long way since those days, so good for him. You know, Marc is a supplement salesman. I mean, he's a protein powder, and now he's selling his candy bars. You know, these are probably healthier candy bars than the average candy bars, but they're candy bars. Let's just face that. You know, they probably have better ingredients than some of the stuff out there, but they're still, you know, basically what they are. They're candy bars. He says he likes what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is I'm basically two things. One, I'm calling out vegan BS because there's a lot of BS out there, and I've got the balls to stand up there and do it where a lot of people don't. He won't do it because he wants to sell vegan candy bars, right? So, but I've got the balls to actually do this stuff, to actually say what needs to be done, what needs to be said. There's a lot of garbage out there, there's a lot of BS, and it's wrong. And it needs to be pointed out, and I'm willing to do that in a way. And social media is not very nuanced. It is, blunt instrument, big meme, silliness, stupid fruitarian, stupid study, your own propaganda. This is how the battle is fought, guys. Sorry, that's just the way it is for you guys that want nuance and science. One, the science is awful. Remember, nutrition science sucks. So anytime I appeal to nutrition science is ultimately an effort in futility. So you've got to go with what works, what the results are. So it's basically ultimately this propaganda war, and it needs to be fought on both sides, because if only one side's fighting, guess what? We're all sucking on Soylent Green in about 20 years, and our kids are miserable. All right, the other thing is meat is good. I mean, meat is a damn health food, and this is what being a carnivore, whether you like carnivores or not, or don't like what they do or do, these guys are showing that meat is actually a health food. There's no reason to demonize it. There's no reason to restrict it. There's no reason to not include it in the diet. And so if that is all that is done, that is a very helpful and a service to humanity. But let's talk about, he brings up, well, when Coke was coming up, they had Michael Jordan. Where are the elite guys? Well, first of all, Michael Jordan joined Coke about 100 years after Coke was started. Coke was started in the 1800s, so Michael Jordan didn't join until the 1980s. So that's not even a close analogy. You might go farther back with Mean Joe Green. Remember, have a Coke and a smile back in the day when the Steelers were winning the Super Bowl. But are there elite guys doing a carnivore diet now? I'm aware of a number of Olympians right now, current Olympic athletes that are doing this diet and thriving. So we will see. This diet has been out there for a couple of years, at least popularized, and largely thanks to what I've been doing. There's people doing it farther beyond me, and I've certainly credited those people. It goes back, in fact, the diet goes back hundreds of years, if not farther. Okay, but let's talk about the criticism that I'm too fat. So this is a picture of me earlier this year. I'm probably hovering, a little bit above 10% body fat at this level. In that picture, I was closer to about 230 pounds. This was earlier this year. And then this was me yesterday, just in a hotel room, woke up, just popped out of bed. This is a performance here. And I'm closer to 240 pounds in that picture. And I'm clearly not quite as lean, but I'm eating 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 calories a day, as much steak as I could possibly cram down my gullet, and that's as fat as I get, right? That's as fat as I get. Now, he's saying, why aren't you 2% body fat? Why aren't you super ripped and lean? One, I don't want to be super ripped and lean because it tanks performance. Anybody that's down at that lower levels of body fat will realize that being extremely low levels of body fat is not good for performance. You might look good on stage, but you feel like absolute shit, right? I don't want to do that. I'd rather perform. I'm competing in a sport right now, rowing, and I've done a lot of sports over the years, but this is where I perform the best. This is where I break world records. This is where me in my 50s can perform as well as guys like Brian Shaw on the rowing machine, who is 20 years younger than me, outweighs me by close to 200 pounds, and is taking a boatload of steroids, right? This is what performance for me is looking like. I'm not here to attract males and get turned on by being a shredded bodybuilder. And this is, if you talk to most females, they don't like this super hypervascular look anyway. I mean, normal human healthy populations are not 6% body fat. That's not in the realm of normal human physiology. Guys that do that, including Marc himself, take drugs to get there, right? Marc says he's on hormone replacement. He's taking steroids. He's taking testosterone. He's taking exogenous testosterone. Marc, if you want to sort of speak with authority, one, I would challenge you, go find a Concept 2 rowing machine, dial in 500 meters, and then pull your fucking ass off as hard as you possibly can. for 500 meters and get back to me with your score. If you can get under 120, I'll be really impressed. If you can do what I can do at 115 at age 50, I'll be shocked. I guarantee you can't do that. I guarantee it. Go try it. I'd love to see you try it. You should do it for a video. It'd be an interesting video, and just kind of see what it takes to pull 114, a minute 14, 500 meter roll like I did when I turned 50. The other thing is, I would challenge you to spend the next decade and get off all drugs, including the testosterone replacement, and see what you can do. And then you can talk about my level of condition, my level of strength, or whatever you want to talk about. Because, for a guy in his 50s that doesn't take drugs, has never taken drugs, doesn't take hormones, eats as much as I possibly can, I think I'm doing okay. And so this criticism, why aren't you ripped at 2% body fat, is just silliness. Now, if I want to get leaner, and first of all, when I talk about a carnivore diet, it's the people at the beginning of this video. It's the people that are improving their health, that are coming off drugs, diabetic drugs, insulin, immunosuppressive drugs, immunomodulating drugs, psychiatric meds, antidepressants, antipsychotics, anti-anxiety meds, these are the people I am concerned. I could care less about bodybuilding, and for the record, there are a number of fitness competitors, bodybuilders that are doing the carnivore diet and making it work successfully. They're getting far leaner than me because I just don't care to do that. But they're also saying it's the easiest cut they've ever experienced. And so if you want to put it in your terms, there are people that are doing that, okay? Let's talk about testosterone, this thing about this testosterone, because people now know something called a SARM, a selective androgen receptor modulator, right? So we have free testosterone level, and then we have an androgen receptor, okay? And they bind, and together they produce the clinical results we want to see, which is based on testosterone. What does testosterone do? It's got to have hormone, it's got to have receptor interaction. And so we know that those receptors can be upregulated. Now look at this paper from Professor Stuart Phillips. Stuart Phillips is one of the leading protein muscle researchers in the world. They did a study in 2018 showing that did not matter what your testosterone level was with regard to muscle building. It all had to do with androgen receptors. So that means that your testosterone level can be low, it can be high, whatever, doesn't matter. The muscle you build is dependent upon the number of androgen receptors we have. We know that males tend to have more androgen receptors in their traps or deltoids or shoulders than women. That's why we get this differential expression of muscle trait. Women tend to have more of their androgen receptors in their legs. All right, and so this is why people are now abusing SARMs. What raises the androgen receptor levels, at least naturally? We know that strength training does. We know that decreased meal frequency seems to. We know there's a drug called L-DOPA, which people take for Parkinson's, which does. And there's some evidence that carnitine, which is found in red meat, also may do so. So you can raise your androgen receptor level higher, put on muscle, and you might not need as much circulating steroid hormone. We also know that steroid hormone fluctuates throughout the day, and if you've had a hard workout, it can be up and down. So a single isolated measurement is kind of silly. We also know that testosterone itself, particularly exogenous testosterone, will also upregulate the androgen receptor. That's why guys that are pounding all this exogenous steroid hormone, including testosterone, have more muscularity. They've upregulated their androgen receptors, okay? So comparing someone that is not on drugs to someone that's taking drugs is, a little bit disingenuous in my view. Like I said, go off all the drugs for a decade, Mark. See where you're at in your 50s. I don't think you're even 40 yet. Do that for 13, 14 years. I know you're never going to do that because your sort of sales, your business is based upon a physique which is built upon drugs and maintaining it using exogenous hormones. You can call it hormone replacement, but ultimately it is testosterone, which is a steroid hormone. Okay. All right. So interesting. Am I fat? Did I go cry? No, I didn't cry about it. Do I care? Not really. Although I did make a video, so I guess I care enough. I think at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is to show the world that meat eating is healthy. And we do not need to go down this stupid plant-based narrative, you know, certainly not from a health perspective. The environmental issues, the ethical issues are another topic. I've talked about those on many occasions, and I think there's a lot of flaws in that argument as well. Okay, guys, it is December 27th. In 5 days, January will start. 4 days, no, 5 days, there's 31 days. World Carnivore Month. Spend a month just eating meat. See how you do. Surprise yourself. It's easy to do. Can you do it? What's wrong? You know, what's the worst going to happen? You're going to eat a bunch of steak. For you guys that are suffering with illnesses, you'll be very surprised at what it can do for you. I hope many of you guys find out. Go to meatrx.com to sign up for this, register, get the support you need. You know, if you are, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll throw. If you're somebody that eats a mixed diet, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I've never said that carbohydrates are evil. That's a misrepresentation. Nor have I said a carnivore diet is the only way to be healthy. That's just a misrepresentation. But if you are looking for a relatively healthy candy bar, go check out Marc's product. Go get you an outright bar. I've never had one, but I'm sure they taste good. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.